Believe it or not, I don't like to rant and rave for hours at a time unless the topic's important. But in this case, the topic isn't really too important, but it should make for an interesting rant. So I'm going to try to make this one quick. A quickie rant, if you will. Cue the fucking music. So about some time ago, I mentioned on X-Twitter about this upcoming game called Sun and Bone, which is a game that's exclusive on PS5, which is a little bit of a bummer, but seeing some gameplay of it, it does seem to be relatively interesting. Some people have compared it to Turok and Doom, which is fairly obvious considering the high-octane combat the game is going for. And I even explicitly mentioned this on X-Twitter, that as long as the level design isn't hyper-linear, roller coaster garbage nonsense that modern Doom is known for, it should be a relatively fun time. Even best case scenario, it could be something like Borderlands, where the areas are connected in their own way, but they're not so damn linear that it's not worth exploring. But that's another situation. So I mentioned this, and this person, and I kind of have to put this out there, but obviously don't go flaming him or whatever, but I'm not going to censor that shit because this person is something else. Just point and laugh, but don't touch the poo. This person basically tries to tell me that Sun and Bone is not a first-person shooter, and that whatever the fuck, the internet in the world has a consensus for decades, and anybody who says otherwise is a fucking retard. And this person, despite following me, I'm not going to go full blast on them because I don't like to ridicule people who take the time to follow me, probably either for reasons such as inflating the follower count, or because they actually have to hear what I have to say, screaming at the abyss and all that. But when people who claim that they know everything, and even making arguments like Sun and Bone isn't a first-person shooter, does that sound familiar? I generally have to ask, why even bother engaging if you can't even provide an actual explanation as to how the fuck this is not a first-person shooter? Are we supposed to be calling this shit an immersive simulator? You know, taking a page from good old Can't You Read GW Terminator? Like, come on now. And I'm not even trying to suck Sony's dick in this case. Which, I also want to mention, every time I use any words that's relatively sexual, I always get likes from sex bots. It's kind of weird, it's kind of stupid, it's probably my fault, but I thought I should let you know. It's a game that I'm interested in because, for one, it's a game that's on the PS5. And as with another certain game that is also coming forward to the PS5, this third-rate Bayonetta Nier Automata clone, whatever the fuck, you know, in terms of assets. It's a game I have my eye on compared to the other games I'm looking forward to this year. The remaster of the Phantom Breakers Battleground and that indie Advance Wars game. It's not often I have actual interest in newer games because a lot of them just seem to be either unpolished or just not really worth my time, which apparently Palworld has been doing really well, so I'm going to have to start looking into that. Though it's kind of a shame it's in early access, but I guess any game could technically be in early access, even during the days of the Xbox 360 and PS3, but I'll digress. When people say that I'm being pessimistic about a certain From Software open world video game, or that my takes are not the own that I think it is, even though I am correct on some things. Not all of them. I'll admit that not every take I have is correct, but there are some things I know I'm right on, and I will die on that fucking hill, but whatever. But then people like this just say utter bullshit, and yet they're the victims because they're owning me or some shit. Like, seriously. This isn't a first-person shooter. This clearly looks like a fucking first-person shooter. And I don't give a shit that it's on console, exclusively. It might be on PC. I don't know. But it's still a game I'm interested in, and yet I get dipshits like this because I misgendered a fucking game genre. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Like, this is the type of shit I have to deal with when it comes to people trying to own me and shit. Both friend and randoms alike. It's fucking retarded. It feels like I'm being oppressed just because I have a different opinion that not everyone's gonna like. So fuck it. I'm still looking forward to the game. If the game sucks, it sucks. And if it does get ported to the PC, great. But I'm not gonna hold my fucking breath, because at the end of the day, it's still a fucking video game. And I do have a PS5 for mainly games like Demon's Souls, kind of ironically enough, even though people love to shit on that game, despite people doing what now with Bloodborne? Don't be this person, but also don't go harassing this person.
The end.